Hi everybody, thanks for coming today. My name is Beau Blackwell, and I'm, as you mentioned, the client knowledge guru for ClickBank, which is a title I made up myself, so there you go. I wanted to talk to you guys today about basically how to get the most out of joint ventures, no matter where you are in the process, really. So we'll be talking about why you need to get into joint ventures, what some of the forms are, and really how to get started and how to get the most out of them. So we'll just jump straight into it, theoretically. So this is a feedback form that you guys can use to submit questions. If you have any questions during the course of the talk, please text or tweet or submit your questions to the message below, and then we'll go back at the end and I'll answer any questions you guys have. So first off, one of the big questions before we even get into what are the different types of joint ventures is, why are they such a big deal? Why do you really need to be involved in them? One of my favorite reasons is to help you avoid the lone wolf syndrome and becoming this guy. It's kind of a stereotype in affiliate marketing that a lot of people are working by themselves. They spend a lot of time kind of alone, not necessarily out there interacting with people. I mean, obviously you guys are kind of an exception since you're here at a show and you're actually out in public. But for a lot of people, they get so much in their own heads and in their typical way of doing things that they really miss out on a lot of opportunities and the chances to really make some great partnerships and grow their business in ways that you just can't when you're out there working by yourself all the time. Another one is that it really leads to bigger and better opportunities for you. So, some examples might be new niches that you could go into, new verticals that having a partner is going to give you access to. Wider reach, obviously, if you can kind of combine your audiences or meet somebody and get to know someone that has a new traffic generation strategy or an entirely new lead gen source that you don't have access to, that's going to open up those opportunities for you really quickly. And then another one, which I'll kind of talk about in a little bit, is additional expertise. I mean, it's really impossible for anybody to be an expert at everything. Even if you're great at SEO or you're great at lead gen or great at conversion, maybe you don't know anything about mobile or any of those types of sort of new emerging technologies. And at events like this is where you can meet people that are so far ahead of the game on that sort of thing that it really kind of opens up new worlds to you and makes you look like an expert by association if you're working with them. As I mentioned before, JVs can really be a shortcut to success because then you don't have to be that expert. You get that reflected glow of your partner. Another example is sort of the 6 degrees of separation effect, like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, where the more people you know and are connected with, it just expands your network out exponentially because you may only get to meet a few people at a show, but if you get to be close with them, they've met a few people, and it just goes out from there. So you can build huge interconnected webs of people that are going to be really effective partners for you once you get out there and start making those connections and making those strong partnerships. And that really leads into the force multiplier effect. It's not just a 1 + 1 = 2 kind of thing, because when you guys are pooling your resources and pooling your connections, it's just going to expand that and add a huge amount to the amount of work you're able to get done, the amount of people you're able to reach, and then essentially, and at the end of the day, what your profits are. The last one is shared risk. Hopefully it's not going to end up like these guys. That would be bad. But when you're working by yourself, for a lot of people, they don't necessarily diversify their income streams maybe as widely as they should. And so if one source of traffic or one source of leads or one way of doing business, a network that they get most of their money from, if those dry up, that can kill a business really, really quickly, especially in this industry where, it can be here today, gone tomorrow as far as those things go. So in working with a partner and doing a joint venture, it really just protects you from having everything disappear in a flash. You can kind of lean on your partners to help get you through the dips. You can learn about new ways to diversify your business that are going to protect you if anything does go wrong, and it often will. So I wanted to talk about some of the different forms of joint venture partnerships. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about JVs or joint ventures, all they're really talking about are effectively affiliate promotions. So in my mind, that's really just the classic kind of model of JVs, affiliate promotions and cross promotions. And really the only difference, I think, between what I would consider a joint venture and what I would just consider a pure affiliate relationship is that relationship and aspect of really knowing each other and kind of knowing what each other's goals are and how you can best work together. I mean, there are a lot of anonymous affiliates who will pick up and promote a product without knowing anything about it or without really having a deep understanding of the industry. So, the good kind of affiliate JV is where the two parties actually know each other and can kind of align and make sure that their messages are lining up with each other and really getting the most out of it. Another type of JV, and one that I've seen work really effectively and people get a lot out of it, are more full partnerships. And there are a lot of ways people can go about creating these partnerships and forms that can take. One that we see at ClickBank a lot, since we're an information product network, are people doing product development together. And that can be the case in info products as well as software or traffic sources or link networks or all kinds of different things. But some examples of really good joint venture partnerships that we see in our space are people like a subject matter expert who is the person that can deliver a great product, great content, and follow up, and then the marketer that will actually go out and put it out there and drive the leads, drive the sales. Same thing with somebody who does a more holistic ownership of the product, plus a copywriter or designer, and then a marketer and a software developer is another example. And a lot of people will just hire a copywriter or a designer for a one-off, but there can be some really big benefits to turning that into a more formalized partnership, or at least having an ongoing relationship, because that person's going to understand your business a lot better than if you're hiring a new freelance copywriter every single time you decide to do a new product. Another form is kind of more of a multi-partner business, I guess. An example I have here on the slide is Glazer Kennedy's Insider Circle. So that's Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer basically formed a kind of a partnership between the two of them, but then they built it out into an entire coaching, events, training kind of network where they have sub-partners beneath them. And they're really all interconnected very, very fully, and everybody kind of benefits from the brand and is able to leverage the money that they're able to put into their branding and advertising. So some examples of those might be membership sites or people that do coaching and training and are able to really build out their customer base once they start leveraging their shared expertise. And in those situations, it's often where one person kind of does the upfront marketing and one person provides the back-end support, or they're able to do licensing type deals where they can find other partners who are a good fit for what they're doing, and then they can leverage those people to reach customers and grow their customer network. Another one that's huge, and I'm sure you guys have probably met quite a few of these guys at this event, is JV brokering. So actually just getting paid to make connections between people. It's a cool job if you can get it, and it can be really nice because it's It's a good way to, if you can be the JV broker and you know a lot of people, it can be a good way to get paid from a lot of different partners and get involved in a lot of different businesses. So again, you're diversifying your income streams and you're not just relying on one partner to get you all of your income. It's a really good way to get out there, get into a lot of different industries, and really just make a lot of good long-term connections. So one of the big questions everybody has when you start talking about JVs, especially if it's something that you're not already really familiar with and you're just kind of starting to try to break into it, is how to find the opportunities that are out there. And there are a huge variety of opportunities. So it's not just how to find them, but also how to vet them. There are quite a few online gathering places where people are putting they're looking for JV partners and they're announcing it very publicly. In a lot of cases, they're spending money to get the word out that they want to find JV partners. So in the space that I'm in information products, a big one is a website called jvnotifypro.com. And that's basically where people who have upcoming product launches, in some cases they can be months out, 3, 4 months, 6 months. In some cases, the products aren't even actually developed yet, but they know they're putting something out. They're leveraging their brand to say, we've got something in the works, so we're looking for partners who want a JV. So that's a big one. And then, forums are a really popular place as well. So some examples are the Warrior Forum, which covers a wide variety of different types of products, from info marketing to local marketing, to kind of more pure affiliate ad network plays. Similar case for the Wicked Fire and Niche Choppers forums. Those are big affiliate marketing forums, and you can find some really good potential partners on those. There are a lot of industry-specific forums that you can look at, and those are a great place that you can go and sort of vet people and just lurk for a little while and see what people talk about before you really decide to jump into it and put your name out there and start trying to recruit partners. And then some private and paid forums. So paid memberships will often come with a forum, and those are some of the best places to meet people that their goals are really aligned with yours if you're a member of that same site. Face-to-face is obviously a huge source of potential JV partners. Hopefully you guys have been going to the parties and networking with people in the halls and making some of those connections. There are other events. One I really like is called the Internet Marketing Party. That takes place in Austin and San Diego. And it's basically just an opportunity for people to get together at a bar and have some drinks and let their guard down a little bit and get in business with each other. So it's those kind of places, I think, are where you're going to meet people who are really open to opportunity. Like I said, a couple of beers never hurt anybody. Getting open about what their goals really are and who they're looking to connect with. And then mastermind groups, obviously, are another great opportunity for that. Again, those are people that just by virtue of being in that same group with you, obviously have some of the same mindset, have some of the same ideas or goals appeal to that person. So, kind of by default, they're going to be a better potential partner than a lot of people out there will. And meetup groups are also another one. If you guys don't do a lot of meetup groups, those can be a great source of meeting people, especially for people who have a different expertise or are in a completely different vertical or industry from you. And those can open up some great opportunities as well. Referrals are a big one as well. So, a lot of people don't necessarily let their contacts know that they're looking to take on new opportunities or new partners. So your network of existing people, just put the word out. If you ever to them and just say, if you ever meet anybody who's looking to do something together, who's looking for a potential partner or needs marketing services or needs some traffic sent to their website, just send them my way. those are going to be valued much more by the people who refer you and who you get referred to, because it comes from a trusted source. It's not you hyping yourself up and hoping that people will kind of believe that you're a great partner. If you get referred, by default, you already look a lot better. One of kind of my favorite secret weapons that I've gotten really big on in the past year or so is Facebook. So basically all there is to it is just joint venture with Mark Zuckerberg and you're good to go. You'll be rich. But no, it's basically just that I've found people on Facebook when they join groups, discussion groups, and kind of mastermind groups within Facebook. It's a great way to get to know a lot more about that person. People are a lot more open on Facebook as well. So you can form some really strong friendships, and in a lot of those groups, just put the word out, or just offer to help people or ask questions, and you can quickly get an idea of like-minded people who could make a great partner, and getting a sense of what their goals are and how you can contribute to what they're doing, and vice versa. So if you guys aren't real active on Facebook, I encourage you to take a look at it and do some research into groups. Honestly, I used to think that LinkedIn was a better place for kind of networking and business-oriented groups. But I actually kind of run into more sort of spammy people, I guess, or people that are just saying, help me, help me, help me. Whereas on Facebook, I find a lot more people that are actually looking to be helpful and looking for like-minded partners. So once you've identified some opportunities, then the next key obviously is getting started. So before you really start kind of putting the word out there and actively going after joint venture partnerships, I think it's really worth doing a lot of preparation in advance, just so that you're really clear on what you want to get out of these partnerships. Because a lot of people say, well, I just want to make more money, or I just want to get to know more people, but that can lead to some really bad partnerships, or partnerships that either never get off the ground or crash and burn and end up being more trouble than they're worth. So, one of the big things is to think about, what are your goals specifically, not just in a general sense of I want to be more profitable or I want to make more money, but do you want to get into new verticals and new niches? Are you looking just to increase your revenue? Are you looking for more profitable sources of traffic or partnership opportunities? Are you looking to get into areas that have more passive income and aren't going to require you, as part of this new partnership, to start spending another 4 hours a day online, or going to a lot of events or whatever it is? And are you looking for a short-term partnership or a long-term partnership? That's a huge consideration. If you just want to do one-off projects, that's great, and that can be extremely profitable, but you need to know that going in, and make sure that your partner knows that as well, so that they're not thinking you guys are in it for the long haul, and you're thinking that you're in it for 1 month and then you're done and you're never going to speak to them again, or vice versa. And really think about what don't you want. I mentioned, things like long hours, or maybe taking on a partner whose traffic sources or lead sources are kind of shady and you don't exactly know where it's coming from. If you're okay with that, cool, no worries. But if you if you are trying to run a really solid, legitimate business and keep it low risk, make sure that you say, I only want people with really clean sources of traffic coming in, because otherwise it can be really easy to get caught up by sort of shiny object syndrome, or people that sound really good up front, and then the reality of it isn't nearly as good once you get into the partnership. One thing I think is worth doing is to sort of create a resume, and I don't mean a boring corporate resume, but just really understanding what are the skills that you can bring to a partnership, and how do you want to communicate those to potential partners, because chances are good that you know what you're really good at, but have you thought about how you can communicate that, or how you would position that to potential partners? Because they may say, yeah, well, I'm good at SEO too, or I'm good at lead gen. So you need to get as specific as you can about exactly what kind of skills and traffic sources and even just sort of bigger picture stuff you can bring to a relationship. Have a record in your mind of some past successes that you could bring up in talking to people, whether it's campaigns you ran or businesses you started and exited, or other good partnerships that you had, because people really want to know about this stuff so that they can sort of get an idea of your track record and think, okay, this is somebody I could be in it with for the long haul. And then develop that into an elevator speech like businesses do. In 30 seconds of meeting somebody, be able to tell them, what are you looking for? What can you bring to the table? What would you like them to be able to bring to the table? And not in a pushy, arrogant kind of sense, but just, it's great to be able to say within a few minutes of meeting somebody, is there any kind of a good fit here or not? And in a lot of cases, if you have that, then you're going to avoid a lot of kind of feeling each other out or wasting each other's time, and then at the end saying, wow, there's nothing here. So it's good if you can condense that down and keep it really tight, so that you can do that quickly, especially when you're at events and you're meeting a ton of different people. One thing I think is worth doing too, when you're sort of out there or looking at opportunities, is think about what your dream project would be, or a dream partnership. What does it look like in terms of how much work is each person putting in? What types of work are each person putting in? What's the ultimate outcome? Kind of what are you hoping to get out of it? Are you hoping to get more freedom? Are you hoping to get way more money? Are you hoping to turn it into a full-fledged business with employees or that sort of thing? And then also, what's the time frame for this? Could you take on a new partner tomorrow? Could you guys get started working? Or is this something that is part of your goals for this year or next year? Even if you meet somebody and it seems great, could you really accommodate working with them before 3 months out or 6 months out? And then again, what kind of duration? Do you want to work together for a year or 2 or 5 years? Or do you want to do a project together over the next 3 months and then take a long vacation? So some good ways to identify potential partners. First, look at your current contacts. There may be some people that you have never kind of thought of in that sense, or maybe their business or their existing business didn't seem like something you were necessarily interested in, or that there was a fit there. But when you think about it from maybe a different kind of partnership standpoint, like one-off projects, or working together to create a product outside of your current businesses, then there may be some great opportunities that could come up there. And obviously you already have that trust built in and that relationship built in that will hopefully make it run smoother. Again, the 6 degrees of separation. Who do your contacts know? When put the word out about it, but also just kind of think through, okay, well, they're in this industry, so what kinds of people might they already be involved with that could also be helpful to my business, or that I could offer a service or a product to that I think would help them. And then people with complementary skills. So, these are going to be people that you might be in a forum with, and you see somebody that, seems great at driving traffic, but their copywriting is awful, or it's obvious they don't really know how to convert or determine the ROI of their marketing campaigns. Is that something where you guys could partner together and you get a percentage of their sales in exchange for helping them improve their conversion funnel? And same thing goes for mastermind group members. If you're in a mastermind group with, say, a really successful realtor or something like that, and you're great at conversion or analytics, could you offer to help grow their business in exchange for a cut of the sales that they get or leads that come in? One of the things I think a lot of people make a mistake of is always trying to partner with the biggest fish in their pond. I'm sure for those of you that are familiar with the info marketing space, I'm sure guys like Frank Kern or Ryan Dice or people like that get thousands and thousands of JV requests a year of people that they really think they can contribute a lot to Frank Kern's business or something like that. In some cases, maybe that's true, but trying to sort that out from all the people who are beginners just looking to associate themselves with a big name is so hard that it's usually not worth their time unless they can just absolutely wow them with something really new and cool. So instead, think about people that you could partnership that are kind of more at your level, maybe just a little bit above your level, because those are the people that you can make a really good case to that you can impact their business, and that you guys have a lot more in common than you might with a Frank Kern or somebody like that. And also, I would recommend considering working with people that are really smart and ambitious, but maybe are newer than you or don't have the following or the connections you do, because honestly, often those people are willing to work a lot harder than somebody who's way into the game and is pretty established. They're going to be the ones that have a lot to benefit from by putting a lot into the partnership. So those can be a good opportunity for you to basically find people who are willing to work really hard, and then you don't have to work as hard, and that's always good. So then once you've identified people and you sort of analyzed your opportunities and prepared, then you want to start approaching people. I think one of the best ways to do it, and again, a place that a lot of people make a mistake, is they just start bombarding people with requests or sending out form emails to people who are in their network or they've identified as a good partner. No relationship whatsoever, or if there is any relationship, they've spoken to them once and exchanged a message on Facebook or replied to something the person posted in a forum. So it's basically like cold traffic. You're coming in and trying to convince them that they should work with you without having a relationship built. So one of the places you can start, I think, is doing your homework on this person. If they're putting information out there in a public forum, whether it's Facebook or a forum, or if you're in a membership group with them or a mastermind group, just listen to them. What do they talk about as far as what their goals are? What do you think that you could help them achieve that would push those goals forward? Because if you can come to them and say, yeah, I heard that you're looking to move into the healthcare space, and I happen to know a bunch of people in the healthcare space, or I have a site that can drive really good leads in that space. I think we should work together. I know that's something you've been wanting to get into. That's going to wow somebody that you've thought in advance about, what they're looking to do. Help them first, and then ask for favors later, or ask for a partnership later. Don't go in just saying, hey everybody, here's what I'm looking to do. How can you help me? Or, even saying, here's what I'm looking to do, and I think it can help you. That's not relevant to people, and they're going to get turned off when you're doing that sort of push marketing to them. So look for opportunities to jump in and do them a favor without asking for anything, without following up on it right away. Just say, I saw that you needed this. I'd love to connect you with a guy I know or a partner I have that can do that for you. Hope it works out. Good luck. Enjoy that. Because then when you do go back to them later and say, hey, I hope that was helpful. I really hope it helped you get those, achieve those goals that you were looking to do. They're going to think you're awesome, and they're going to think that, you're really somebody that gives instead of takes. And then also, I think when you're analyzing and sort of assessing the opportunities that are out there, a good fit is better than a good opportunity. There are a lot of good opportunities, and a lot of those end up crashing and burning and causing big problems, like I mentioned before. So I really think, analyzing that fit, saying, does this person do marketing the way that I think it should be done? Are we going to step on each other's toes? Is this somebody that I think I could work with long term? I really think that's a lot more important than just going for quick hit, one-off opportunities to make a quick buck and then potentially, have a bad relationship. Because if you have a bad relationship with them, then, the word can get out. Everybody they know, they may tell their connections to stay away from you, and obviously you don't want that, even if it's not your fault at all. When you're making your case to people, once you've sort of established that rapport and you actually go to them and say, hey, I think it's time. I'd really like to sort of broach the topic of working with you. I think there could be something great here for both of us. Always lead with and keep in mind what's in it for them. What's in it for you doesn't matter nearly as much to them, obviously, as what's in it for them. So the more that you can make that case to them, just like you would for customers or anybody else, of, this is going to be good for you, and here's why. That's going to make them much more open to considering the proposal and to, wanting to pursue that relationship. Be open to negotiation. I said earlier, think about your dream project, but there are going to be very few times when partnerships and projects work out and look exactly like that dream project. So whether it's payment terms, whether it's duration of the partnership, whether it's what the responsibilities in the partnership are, be open to and flexible to, want to make the partnership work by negotiating with that person. And then be specific and honest about what you can bring to the table. A lot of people are so afraid that partners are going to say no to working with them that they make extravagant claims about the size of their list or the people they know or what their skills are or past successes. And in the end, all that does is just cause problems down the road once they find you out or discover that you're not really able to deliver on those big promises. So be honest with them up front and say, hey, I haven't done a lot of projects in this area, but I've done stuff in these other areas, and I think I can take what I've learned in those areas and apply it to this and be really successful. And then, if they say, yeah, I just can't take the risk, then, at least you know that that's something they're really concerned about, and maybe you can come back and address that objection later. So if you've approached people, two kind of common things that come up. First is, in a lot of cases, you just get no response whatsoever. If that's the case, be polite but persistent. And by persistent, I don't mean stalk them or email them every 3 days saying, "Hey, did you see my email?" Or calling them on the phone every few days saying, "Hey, what's up with the partnership?" But check back in once a month or once a quarter and say, I think we could definitely work together, and I'd just love to get on the phone with you for 15 minutes and talk about it. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to be a huge commitment for them, but make sure that you keep following up, because in a lot of cases it's just the emails get buried and people get busy and they forget to follow up with you. And another thing you can do is keep adding value and keep helping them, like I was saying earlier. Just keep doing them as many favors as possible, and you're going to stay in front of them and just increase their opinion of you as, wow, this is somebody that's really awesome and really doing great things for people. And then if they say no, be professional. You don't want to say, wow, you really screwed up by not partnering with me. You're going to regret this someday, and I'll destroy you, or anything like that. But you don't want to burn those bridges, because those people know a lot of people, and word gets around. And especially if it's in any kind of public forum, it can really reflect poorly on you. So make sure that you stay professional and just say, hey, that's cool. I understand that this isn't the right time, or maybe that's not what you're looking to get into. But if anything changes, just keep me in mind, and I'd love to maybe work with you at some point. So once you've got a JV set up, some ways that you can effectively manage the partnerships to make sure that they work well and are valuable for everybody. One thing, and not a lot of people do this necessarily is trial projects. So do a single product or a single promotion together, see how it goes, see how you feel about the amount of work that each person put into it, and were there any conflicts about payouts or about techniques or methods that people used. And then if it works out and you guys are really jiving and everything runs really smoothly, then you can look at making it more formal. But by setting that really kind of temporary, limited trial, that can be a great way to sort of judge that fit versus opportunity that I was talking about earlier. When you're talking about how the project's going to work, and especially if you're writing up any kind of a contract or formalized agreement, you've got to get really specific. You can't just trust that, we're both on the same wavelength, everything's cool, I'm sure it'll all go smoothly. Get into detail about what each person's responsibilities are, exactly what they're bringing to the table, whether it's, if somebody says, sure, I'll, as part of this partnership, I'll mail my list for you and I get 20% of your sales. What list is that? Is that their list of 10,000 prospects, or is that their list of 100 prospects? Because you don't want to have any nasty surprises about that sort of thing. Also talk about the scope of the partnership, like I was saying before, and any kind of potential exit strategy. If you guys decide to part ways, who gets what? What's the kind of final outcome? Who keeps the customers? Who keeps the lists? Who keeps the product? You want to lay all those things out so that you don't end up getting into a big fight and not being able to have another partnership in the future or get what you were hoping to get out of the project. Detailed payment splits, that's certainly a big one, and as well as pre-planning for common things that come up like refunds or chargebacks. What if a third partner comes and says, hey, I'd love to work with you guys. How are you guys going to deal with that? What about side projects for each of you? Are there time commitments that you both need to agree to? And then using tracking tools so that you can keep track of who earned what, who owes what, all that sort of thing. So, one example is at ClickBank, we recently introduced these JV contracts within our system where people can get paid out automatically no matter what type of partnership it is, or for affiliate referrals or that sort of thing. The more you can automate payments and automate the tracking, the less conflicts you're going to run into, because otherwise, people are going to look for ways that they can kind of work things to their advantage in a lot of cases, or it's just a accounting and bookkeeping nightmare, and you're going to run into some huge headaches trying to keep track of things like refunds coming in and that sort of thing. And then a big one is if you do decide to go forward and have a more formalized partnership, you need to get legal, get lawyers involved. Don't rely on a gentleman's or a lady's agreement, because things will come up and scenarios will come up that you didn't necessarily envision, and those are the things that can really tear partnerships apart and lead to bad blood or bad feelings on both sides. So the more you can clearly lay things out and make sure that everybody's sort of bound to that agreement, the better off you're going to be, and the more kind of profitable and harmonious your partnership is going to be. So really, in the end, all I can say about how to create and maintain joint venture partnerships is basically be cool, make money. When you treat people like you're wanting to be treated in that partnership coming in, you guys are going to get along so much better. You're going to be excited to work together, and looking forward to doing the stuff that you need to do in this partnership that's going to really make it take off and result in big profits for everybody. So just be cool. That's really all that comes down to it, and that's kind of before, during, and after the course of the partnership. So if you guys have any questions or want to get in touch with me, here's some of my information, and thank you for listening, and I'd love to answer any questions you guys have. Feel free to submit questions to there, or I guess we have a mic set up there, so you could always jump up and ask there as well. Yes?
I just had a question on some of the groups you mentioned on Facebook for mastermind and whatnot. Do you have any suggestions or
Yeah, there.
general searches for those? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's some industry-specific type of groups. One that's kind of a general group that is absolutely my favorite. I've made some great connections, great friends through it, and the people in it are just really cool and really adhere to all this stuff. It's a group called Internet Marketing Super Friends. It was set up by a guy named Mike Hill, and one thing that I really like about it is that basically when people join, he says, look, we're here to help each other. We're here to meet cool, like-minded people. We're not here to schlock stuff to each other and spam each other all day long. So he keeps pretty tight control on it. And after he did that for a little while, now people just self-police. And people will jump in and say, hey, it's a little bit pushy. Let's, are you really adding value or just trying to get us to buy your stuff? So that's kind of the best one. I'm a member of a few other groups that were part of membership programs like Third Tribe Marketing or a few different ones like that. But Internet Marketing Super Friends is probably my favorite, and otherwise I would say just sort of search by keywords really within group search and see if they seem like good places to meet people. Any other questions? Yep. That's a good question. The question was, would I recommend any boot camps for beginners? I mean, there are a lot of great events, and even though Affiliate Summit's a fantastic event, obviously, but it's really broad. There are some sort of smaller kind of industry-specific events that I've been to, depending on what you're looking to get into, that are more in the 300 to 500 person range. So some of those, and obviously I'm speaking from sort of an info marketing background, so those are the ones that I know about. But Yannick Silver's Underground event, which is probably in February or March, is a really good one. It's called it's Yannick Silver is the guy that runs it, and it's called Underground, and that's a really good one. There's an event called Continuity Summit that's run for the past few years that's really around creating membership programs and continuity-based income. That's a great event. I'm trying to think of what some of the other ones are. Actually, one of my favorites that I've ever been to, and it's coming up in about 3 weeks, is Ryan Dice's Traffic and Conversion Summit in Austin. Yeah, Ryan Dice, D-E-I-S-S. That's a really cool event, and it's nice because it brings together people in all kinds of verticals as well. It's not just an info marketing event, but it's people that kind of really know what they're doing, and they're looking to make good partners and learn about the latest tips and stuff. So there are a lot of events that go on throughout the year. But I definitely look for those smaller ones. Actually, another one I'll mention is it's called SAM, which is just the acronym for Sales and Marketing, and that's going to be in Park City in April. And I haven't been to it myself, but I've heard really, really good things about it. So those are a few examples, and I've found that those events are really where I've created the best long-term relationships and made some really good friends as well from them. Sure.
Have you made any progress on lower price, like continuity, micro-continuity at a lower price? There's kind of I think $7.95 is your current price.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so this was kind of a question more specifically about ClickBank, but we allow for continuity sales, and so right now the minimum is still $7.95 per month for the continuity. We are making progress on having lower dollar ones. We're just kind of working out what the pricing model will be for our fees, but yeah, I would expect to see lower dollar continuity, within probably 3 to 6 months, I would expect. And those can be a great way to get to create partnerships and get people in, is create sort of low dollar continuity programs where you and a partner contribute content to it or contribute information to it, and then you can use the people that you get in those, that they can become a really good lead funnel for higher priced products or coaching or that sort of thing. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming. I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll be around also at the ClickBank booth if you need anything. Thanks.